Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are watching the station identification of one of Wayland City's resident YouTubers. Live in the basement. This is not MTV's remote control. And he is not Ken Ober. God rest Ken Ober's soul. This is WEML-TV, Channel 77. And now here's your host, New Bedford, Massachusetts' own, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Praise the Lord, God is good, and call a familiar face. That's right, you are watching my YouTube CBS station identification. No, this is not the Farmer C. It's Channel Vlog Show, and it's not MTV's remote control, and it's not. And I am not Ken Ober. This is WEML-TV Channel 77, in which there's Ordinary, and then there's me, Eric Lima. What's going on, everybody? Episode 570, and 10:57 p.m., September 21st, 2021. The Red Sox won again, 6 in a row. Yes! We're on a roll now, folks, against beating up on the New York Mets. And now, I just finished watching NXT 2.0, and man, I'll tell you what, ever since NXT 2.0, we saw a lot of new faces. More new faces have been coming to the NXT. It's going to be a lot of fun, let me tell you. Raw and SmackDown, you better keep an eye on these, because you might end up drafting them. It'll be very interesting. And the people that were in the ring right now: Odyssey Jones, Braun Breaker, Joe Gacy, Josh Briggs, Carmella Hayes, Trick Williams, and Brooks Jensen, and Tommaso Ciampa came out, addresses the NXT universe. And then Cameron Grimes interrupts Tommaso Ciampa, said, "Hey, how about a title shot?" Gacy interrupts Grimes, said, "Hey, we stand in the way." But then LA Knight interrupts Gacy, and says, "Hey, I want a shot at the title." And then Odyssey Jones is like, "You lost 2 matches in a row." And then Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland interrupts Odyssey Jones. And then a brawl ensued inside the ring. And then Braun Breaker and said, "Hey, how about this? You take on the champ and me." And when you hear him talk, he sounds like his Uncle Scott Steiner. I am dead serious, man. And then while that was going on, in the back, a 4-woman fracas between Amari Miller and Kaylee Ray, B-Fab and Elektra Lopez, they went at it. I figured that's the most chaotic way to start things off. Then the NXT Cruiserweight Title was on the line, Kushida defending against Roderick Strong. And let me tell you, Diamond Mine played a key role in this matchup, and I mean key. And Kushida had in the hoverboard lock during the matchup, and it was crazy. And then Malcolm Bivens put his foot on the ropes, and then all of a sudden, the Creed brothers drag him out to the ring, from the ring, I should say, and Ivy now did the Roman Reigns style Superman punch, or in her case, Superwoman punch. And then they throw him back in the ring. Roderick Strong hits it with the backbreaker. We have a new Cruiserweight champion in Roderick Strong. As they were celebrating, Grayson Waller comes out, issued a challenge, and they said, "Fine, next week you get yourself a title shot." Going to be very interesting. I mean, next week's gonna be more interesting. NXT. Then Tony D'Angelo, another promo, this time off a pier, talking about the family business and whatnot. And then they had Kaylee Ray versus Amari Miller, 1-on-1, and Kaylee Ray proved why she was the longest-reigning NXT UK Women's Champion of the modern era. And then Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen cut a promo inside a bar, how they beat the heck out of each other. Now they're teaming up. Gonna be something else. Mackenzie Mitchell interviewed Braun Breaker. He says, it's an opportunity for him. Tommaso Ciampa says, "You ready to have big fish in a small pond? Ready to have big fish?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm ready to team up with the NXT champion." Zion Quinn was talking to 2 beautiful ladies, and then some rude guy who walked in right in front. He said, "Hey, wait a minute, mate. Ladies first." And the guy's complaining, and then after the ladies go, he closed the door, slammed the guy's head, going down. I'm like, okay, I like the Zion Quinn dude. Trey Baxter went 1-on-1 with a newcomer from Singapore, Dante Chen, all the way, the first Singaporean superstar in the WWE. Dante Chen did beat Trey Baxter. A lot A lot of new, fresh faces, and believe me, Dante Chen is one guy you need to look out for. He had an awesome finishing maneuver when he grabs a guy like in a DDT and in like a sit-down position. Oh, it's so innovative. And then Andre Chase did the Chase University and talking about Odyssey Jones, and then how Odyssey Jones is a loser. And then some student goes, "Hey, didn't he beat you in the first round of that tournament? What's your name, Steve?" Steve kicked Steve out of the class of Andre Chase of Chase University. I was laughing. I thought that was pretty funny. And then Cameron Grimes cut a promo that he's coming up next in action. Joe Gacy addressed the NXT universe about way of fighting and all that. Figure he's got something strange going on. Cameron Grimes went one-on-one with Joe Gacy. Grimes won with the cave-in in that one. That was fun. Then Elektra Lopez, and she looks like she beat the Undertaker up and crumpled his hat and is wearing it. You know, oh my gosh, it was the funniest thing in the world. Went up against Anna Shear, and then Elektra Lopez did defeat Anna Shear, and then during the commercial before, Von Wagner did cut a promo about it's just the beginning for him. Then Legado del Fantasma addresses Elektra Lopez of why she became a member of the group, and then Lopez responds to and then talks to cuts a promo on BFAB and said, I'm going to beat you, get your butt out here. And then Hit Row interrupts Legado del Fantasma, but then only the three men show up, and then BFAB attacked Lopez from behind. Both women started brawling, like they picked up where they left off. And then they continued to brawl, and then the men separated the ladies, and that's it. That's that. I'll tell you one thing, the rivalry will not stop. Cora Jade talks to Trey Baxter, and then Cora Jade's like, "Are you okay? Yeah, you see what happened to me out there?" And she goes, "You're like a superhero. You never give up." And looks like they've been boyfriend and girlfriend for a long time. She gives him a kiss on the lips, and all of a sudden Trey Baxter goes, "Superhero. Take a little lesson from Shane Helms or Nikki ASH if you need to, Mr. Baxter. My advice." Then there's a 2-on-1 handicap match. Odyssey Jones versus Kerry Millman and Damian Chiapata. Odyssey Jones. When you're in the ring with Odyssey Jones, here's my advice to you: call your mama. Or call your next of kin, because you ain't coming back the same. And Odyssey Jones, soundly defeated him, no problem. And then Raquel Gonzalez confronted Frankie Monet, Jesse Kamea, and Robert Stone. And then Raquel Gonzalez, I just talked to William Regal. Next week, the women's title match is happening. And then she goes, "See you next week." And all of a sudden, Lash Legend, a newcomer, Lash Legend, comes out, and she goes, "Next week, I'm making my talk show debut for my talk show, Lashing Out with Lash Legend." It'd be very interesting to see who she has as her first guest. A lot of new names, folks. A lot of names. But then after the match of Odyssey Jones, though, Andre tries to attack Jones with a chair, but Jones breaks the chair. Breaks the steel chair. Andre Chase got out of there like a bat out of nowhere. And then, Grayson Waller was talking to a couple of guys, and they said, "Hey, this is an opportunity for you, man. Cruiserweight Championship." And Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams said, "Hey, listen, talk about opportunities." Grayson Waller goes, "Oh, keep an eye on things." And then Toxic Attraction just walks by Williams and Hayes, and they're like, "Oh, they fine." So Toxic Attraction, that would be Mandy Rose, Cora Jade, and JC Jane. Ike Manjiro's Ike Mansion shows all the jackets and all that. And and I thought at first he said Ike Man's jackets. I thought he said Ike Man's jackass. I'm like, "You're not a jackass. You're funny. You're cool. I like you. Don't call yourself a jackass." When he said jackets, you got to read the language. So Ike Manjiro was showing off his jackets, which is really, really cool. He says he's talking about strong style, but style strong. We need some T-shirts for Ike Manjiro, man. T-shirts for Ike Manjiro, man. I like that guy. He's got great personality. And Ike Man in Japanese means handsome. So handsome Jiro. I like that. So I think he's cool. And then Toxic Attraction comes out. They cut a promo about, Mandy Rose says, I was going to come in like the Golden Goddess, but something changed. Where were you when I got my face punched in and all that? And then he says, inside this beauty is a beast ready to be unleashed. And then JC Jane and Gigi Dolan want and issue a challenge to Io Shirai and Zoe Stark for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. And so after that, Mackenzie Mitchell interviews the champs, Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. Io Shirai goes, I don't like them. Let's get it on. And Zoe Stark goes, hold up. I don't know. And she's questioning, no, it's the principle of the thing. I say, I said, well, fine, we'll defend the belts. And that's what I did. And then Persia Parat came in and goes, once Indy comes, he goes, Toxic Attraction's not the only ones looking for a shot at those belts. Once Indy comes back for her honeymoon, me and her, we want a shot at the gold. They're like, fine, bring it on. So I think it was pretty cool. And then the main event happened. Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker versus Ridge Holland and Pete Dunne. I mean, this was a fight. Both teams evenly matched. And Braun Breaker and Ridge Holland, let's go put those boys one-on-one, dude. That's all I'm saying. They just went like hitting each other, clotheslines, knocking each other down. They couldn't even knock each other down. It took Kyle O'Reilly to attack Ridge Holland to give Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa the victory, which Braun Breaker was holding on to the NXT title. I got a feeling Braun Breaker wants a shot at that belt. No doubt about it. And that's the way it is, and that's the way it stands right now. NXT 2.0 overall. You're going to see a lot of new fresh faces, maybe some of the veteran faces of NXT. Could they move to either Raw or SmackDown? We'll find out in the draft coming in October. October 1st, that is. Okay, so that is all the time we have on the show. Episode 570 of WEML-TV, Channel 77. And I'm going to upload this, and it'll be the last video for the night, because tomorrow we have AEW Dynamite 4 hours. That means I have to stay up till 12 o'clock. So I better be ready for that. Alright, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. And until the next episode, peace, love, God bless. Also tomorrow, Whammy Mania Wednesday. I'm going to see when I try to get my 2019 title back while I defend my 80s title. Alright, I'll see you guys later. And good night.